My wife is studying to become a behavioral analyst. She works with kids who lack a lot of the basic gross motor skills, and speech is a really big one. Any thoughts on how something like ChatGPT could be useful here? Yeah, I think ChatGPT in its current state is useful if they can type and ask questions, and then it can go back and give responses for them that are more fully developed. The other thing for people who can't read, for instance, there are some applications of ChatGPT that people have been using through the API that allow you to ask it using your voice and get responses back through your voice. For example, I am a iPhone user, and on my iPhone, I actually downloaded recently an app called Lori. And Lori is a ChatGPT client. But the
Yeah.
difference is on your iPhone, you can also add what's called a shortcut so that when I go to Siri, I can say, "Hey Siri, open ChatGPT." And it says, "Okay, I'm now in ChatGPT." And then I can say, "Okay, ChatGPT, tell me a story about blank," and it will come back. Just like as if I typed it in, it will now use my voice, translate it, give it to ChatGPT, get the answer, and then speak back as Siri to me with that information. It really becomes Siri the next generation, which is what Apple is working on for Siri itself. And really, this is just a stopgap for that. But I think a lot more tools like that are going to be coming out. I have a friend, and his kid has autism and is non-verbally autistic. He's 6 or 7 at this point, and he's had a lot of issues and going through a lot of therapy to try to help the child learn how to communicate in this world. And they've had a lot of different toys, and iPads have been a game changer because one of the apps they have on this is like an iPad. It's got pictures and words. So if he's hungry, he can hit a button that says food, hamburger, or something like that. And he doesn't have to be verbal, but he can still communicate to his parents what he wants. 50 years ago, that kind of thing didn't exist. If you had an autistic kid who was nonverbal, they were pretty much just at the beck and call of their parent. They couldn't communicate what they wanted. And so these type of things do find their way into the accessibility market to help people who have different challenges, disabilities, handicaps, whatever you want to call it, that they're trying to overcome. And the biggest challenge I see in that market is that there's such a smaller demand because there's so many less people, there's not as much money in it. So if I was going to go make an app that turns Siri into a voice chat GPT, there's a lot more money in that than if I make an app for autistic kids, right? Because there's only so many of them and only so many parents of those can afford the thing. And so it's like that same tool might be $10 for Lori, which is what I'm using, but it might be $10,000 for an autistic version for a kid or something like that. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge. But I would keep your eye on the marketplace. There's a lot of things that are changing and moving, and there's a lot of technology out there. So you can do voice answering and recognition. You can do typing, answering, and recognition. You could do type to speech and all sorts of things depending on the capabilities of that person. So we need AI, we need robotics, we need automation to be able to continue to do things the way we do. To continue doing it the way we've always done it is not going to be the way of the future. All right. Anything on that one, Mario?
I guess more so for me thinking about that particular scenario, you hit it right on the head. If you can type, that would be best because I think it helps best with articulation, but I'm not sure how it would help specifically in speech. But you could ask it, what are some tips and tools? It's using the hive mind of all the greatest scientists, of all the greatest things ever written to give you ideas for that particular thing. But I think those type of tools are going to be more narrow AI in that type of feel. And yeah, I think it's hard. Yeah, human behavior, think about it for our own selves. Like we have apps, we have alarm clocks, we have all these reminders. We just click snooze, we just click whatever. So it's got affecting human behavior is a hard thing to do. That's a hard task, no matter what technology. Because